Time for an update. I know it's been a while since I last posted, but I wanted to share a quick brief of how the adventure is going. So, after spending a few weeks in Sofia, Bulgaria, I ended up making my way to Hungary, Budapest. Very beautiful city, might I add. I was able to spend a few weeks there. Got the chance to meet up with some old friends who happened to be in town, and I also got the opportunity to attend a networking event that we're going to be discussing in a bit. From there, I made my way to Albania, which is where I'm currently at. I was not expecting to make a stop here, but few more events were scheduled for the next few months that were going to be taking place after my 90 days of the Schengen visa were up. So I stepped out, gonna spend a few weeks here. That way the days don't count towards my total, and then I can go back into Schengen and be there for the events. So had a very positive experience so far. I've enjoyed it very much. Both in Hungary and both here in Albania, people are very kind. I've not had any negative interactions. I know I keep saying that, but I think it's because I've reached a point in my life where I truly believe that the world is as you are. You just reflect everything. So if you radiate and you just project positive energy, that's what you're gonna get back. I truly believe that. As well as me having control of my emotions and not letting any minor interactions spoil how I'm feeling or my mood or whatever. So very positive. People are, particularly in Albania, people here are very kind and very generous. Like there was one guy where I went to see a gym and he let me try it out for free. That, it's like, whoa, okay, thank you. And it was actually closed that day, but maybe just because of some small talk, just talking to them in general. Very kind people here. Even taxi drivers or just in general, when I go to any store or the neighbors, very nice. I was truthfully might be a bit ignorant, but I was not expecting that. I had heard the opposite, but again, that's why I really preach in experiencing things for yourself so that you have your own opinions instead of listening to random people on the internet. So, on that note, on my trip to Hungary, like I said, I got a chance to attend a networking event. And it had been a while since I attended an event, and I was glad to be back in that sort of setting where I have a chance to connect and interact with high-level people, get exposed to new perspectives as to how they see life, how they see business, their relationships, etc. And as always, great time, love the energy. But I have to share, or I want to share, what I think was the biggest takeaway that I got from that event. There was a gentleman at that event who it actually was the first time ever in his life in which he was attending a networking event in general. It was about my age. So I'm 30 and he was around that same age range. And the main topic of discussion for the event was essentially like value exchange, right? You offer value, you give value. That's underlying in most relationships, I would say all of them. And then the different stages of networking, right? Where you give value or you network with people above you, people at the same level, and then people below you. And this person was asking for advice on how he could just surround himself or just only associate with people at the top. Like he wanted to skip the line, essentially, the people he was currently associating with or in his vicinity, he was dismissing them as not being the people he wanted to spend time with or even consider them worthy of him relating with them, talking to them and interacting with them, etc. And keep in mind, this person is around my age, 30 something, and there's a lot of gentlemen here who are very successful in their own regard, successful business owners, entrepreneurs, who have a lot more experience and a lot more life experience. And some of these gentlemen started to share their thoughts on what he was saying, giving them advice, and almost everyone that decided to speak up was 50 years and above. And the main theme, the common theme across what everyone said, essentially came down to being patient, to recognizing that it's not your turn yet. Like you have to put in the time. And for some reason, even though that was directed at him, I felt like the whole room just went silent and the advice was being directed at me. Because for, I would say probably the 2 years now, I've been kind of in a rush to hit certain milestones, hit certain recognition, business goals, personal goals, etc. And oftentimes, just being in a rush causes you to lose sight or causes you to overvalue certain things or dismiss your accomplishments along the way. And it tends to blur the time horizon that you actually have to accomplish a goal. So I was sitting there listening, taking in all the feedback that this person was receiving as if it was directed at me. And for some reason, I just started analyzing the past 2 years and really recognizing like, okay, this is just a long game. It is a very, very long game. Like I'm 30 and I'm in my mind convincing myself that by this point, I should already be this successful based on these metrics, have this amount of money, have this many businesses, be making this amount of revenue, like certain a bunch of metrics that I've made up, right? Or that are, let's say, arbitrarily picked based on what you see other people sharing and doing. And then when you're listening, as I'm there listening to 50, 60-year-olds who have a lot more experience, who have a lot more life experience, sharing how they perceived him essentially, and how in a nice way they were telling him like, you have to put in the time, bro. You've done nothing yet. Like 20 years is a long time. He still needs to build himself, invest into his foundation to actually become someone that the 50-year-olds or like the powerful, influential people want to associate with. And I just sat there just internalizing that whole message, internalizing and just really reflecting that, wow, maybe I have been rushing. I've been rushing my efforts the past few years, and it gave me some clarity as far as how to really approach my current goals and my upcoming goals and really just extend the time horizon, right? Because rushing into things, you have to consider what are you sacrificing in the interim? What are you sacrificing while you're just rushing into things to achieve X amount of money or X amount of goals, right? Let's say it was about business, right? So that's why I'll reference money a lot. But then you start thinking about how even if you make the money, because nowadays it's very, I'll say it's more common to meet people who are quite young and have financial success, but then people who also have financial success, but then on top of that, they have the life experience. The financial success really cancels out. And then it's still a 50-year-old looking down at a 30, 20-year-old. Like, you haven't lived. Like, who are you to tell him what to do, or who are you to tell him anything, right? That's what it comes down to, and especially on a basis of respect. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't listen to 15-year-olds. I don't listen to any kid on advice for anything, except maybe TikTok videos. That's probably something I would listen to. But as far as relationships, life advice, street smarts, business advice, I look for people who have done it, who have experience doing what it is that I'm trying to learn or do. So that was, I have to say, biggest takeaway, biggest eye opener. Just, it felt like a weight got lifted off my shoulders, and he took the flame for that one. I mean, I noticed, I picked up that they were trying to say it in a nice way, basically saying like, what have you done to actually, okay, to go and skip the line. And I'm glad that happened, because it's gave me a chance to reflect. Because even when it's feedback directed at someone else, a habit that has really served me is to take that feedback as if it's meant for me, then internalize it, and I decide then if it's something that I need to implement or not. So I wanted to share that because I found it extremely valuable. Hope you did too. And yeah, we're back on the videos, settling down here in Albania for a few weeks. We're getting back on it. Thank you all for the support. I've seen a few of you commenting, joining, subscribing. Really, really appreciate that. Want to keep giving value as much as I can and look for more ways that I can share my experiences so that maybe you can shortcut the path to your goals, ideally. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. As always, really appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next video. We'll be coming with even more value on that one. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.